Hello guys, it's Asti here and welcome to a brand new video. So this is a video that I'm really excited to be doing because it is something that I've done before, but I really wanted to redo it. And by the title of the video, you guys already know what this is going to be. I'm basically going to be recommending you guys some PlayStation 2 horror games. And the reason I'm doing that is because I think I have quite a few obscure titles. Some of these obscure titles now have been more out there, but they've been in the shadows for quite some time, and I still think that there's quite a few people that have not played these games. Now, of course, I'm gonna show you some of them that you guys might have seen and might have played, but I still really wanted to do this video, and yeah. So we're gonna get started here. I don't even know where to start because I have quite a few games in here. So I guess the first one that I'm gonna show you guys, it is a game that probably a lot of you have heard of, but you probably haven't played it because I believe this game came out in the same year that Resident Evil 4 came out, and so there was a lot of comparisons. And this game just basically went down as the Resident Evil 4 clone, or the game that tried to be Resident Evil 4. Now, I know that this opinion is kind of a little bit controversial because I know there's a lot of people that love Resident Evil 4. I love Resident Evil 4. But in terms of horror itself and atmosphere, I do think that this game did it a little bit better. It is a darker game in my opinion. And I don't know how really to explain it, but maybe showing you guys the game, you'll get it eventually. So, Cold Fear. It is not a perfect game by all means. I don't think that Resident Evil 4 is a perfect game by all means either. But I think people give it a lot of crap because, you know, it came out in the same year. I think it came out in the same year as Resident Evil 4. Or it was being made in the same year, something like that. If you guys know for sure, let me know down in the comments. But I know there was a lot of comparison between the two titles, and so people, of course, you know, gonna buy Resident Evil 4, but they're not gonna buy Cold Fear. And the game is not perfect by any means, but it is a good horror experience. So if you guys like obscure horror games, I think this is probably the perfect place for you to start. So again, not perfect, but totally worth playing. The next game, it is another title that you guys, I'm pretty sure most of you heard of the series, because the series has been around for a long, long time. The latest title was shit. I'm not even gonna put any filters on that. The last fucking title that came out, which was for PC, PS3, and Xbox 360, was complete shite. I don't recommend that game even to my worst enemy. But this one is my favorite one in the series. I know that there's some people out there that still prefer the originals, but this one, to me, is the best in the series. To me. And again, a lot of these games are compared to Resident Evil. And there's some games here that people like to compare to Silent Hill. But I know where those people are coming from because a lot of the gameplay was taken from Resident Evil, you know. But I don't think that is a reason for these titles to be completely, you know, just pushed away and not being played, because there's some really good gems out there. But yeah, I'm talking about Alone in the Dark, The New Nightmare. I believe this game, of course, came out on the PS2. I believe it came out on the PS1 as well, and even on Game Boy. I think this is a Game Boy version. Oh, and on Steam. This is on Steam as well, so I love this game. I Let's Play this game ages ago on my channel if you guys want to check that out. I don't think I put that Let's Play on private. I don't think so. If I did, I'll probably just make it public again because I wanted to redo the Let's Play of this game anyway. And that's why I might have made it private. I'm gonna make it public. If it's private, I'll make it public. But I'm gonna redo this at some point because I think this game is fucking fantastic. It's fantastic. Everything. The music is a little weird to me. The soundtrack is weird as shit to me. But everything, you know, about the monsters, the locations, the atmosphere, like everything else, the gameplay is pretty good. It's Resident Evil-like. So again, I think it's a title that a lot of people have heard of because of the series. The series is pretty famous. But I don't think a lot of people have actually tried this game. So if you haven't, please do yourself a favor and get this Alone in the Dark game because it's fantastic. Alright, now, there's one of my favorite horror games in the entire PlayStation 2 library. This is horror with comedy. I also Let's Played this on my channel ages ago. It's another game that I would love to redo on the channel if you guys were up for it. And I really do believe that a lot of people don't know about it. So, because I don't see a lot of videos on YouTube about it, I see a few, very, very few Let's Plays, including my own. This game is awesome. This game is basically Ghostbusters the game before Ghostbusters the game came out. So, which by the way, I really want a remaster of Ghostbusters the game. I know it's been announced, so I am going to get it and play it because I never had the chance to play it on a PS3, so... But anyway, this game is fucking amazing. It's amazing. Like I said, it has comedy, it has horror, it has really freakish imagery. The soundtrack is not that memorable, but it's not bad either. It's just meh. The ghosts themselves are fantastic. There's a lot of variety. And the gameplay is fun as shit. I kid you not. If I can, when I'm editing this video, I'll put some gameplay on screen so you guys can actually see. The gameplay is fucking fun. So if you guys have never heard of the game Ghost Hunter on the PS2, track down a copy, because I don't think this game is very common. I'm not sure. But I know that not a lot of people have played it before. So, yeah. Ghost Hunter is a beautiful, like... It's just a beautiful gem. I love it. Alright guys, so the next game is based off of a movie. And I'm gonna get right into it. The Thing. Now, John Carpenter himself endorses this game. He loves this game. And this is basically a sequel to the original The Thing. Amazing movie. And I know there's a few people that don't like the game. I love it. I think the game is phenomenal. It is scary, and you're always on your toes because this game actually, back in the day, you know, it has mechanics that back in the day you hadn't seen before. For example, you have to be careful on how you treat your teammates because if they don't trust you, they're gonna shoot at you, and they're gonna become hostile towards you, and you know, they're just not gonna do what you say, they're not gonna be friendly, you know, stuff like that, and vice versa. You cannot, you know, you're gonna have some teammates that you're not gonna be trusting, and you never know who is gonna turn out to be the thing. So, it is so fucking good, because you have to take care of your teammates, and you're always on your toes, and I think this was a really, really interesting idea for a game. Now, I would love to see this game remastered or remade. I think it would be fantastic. But I mean, when the guy himself, you know, endorses the game, then that should tell you something. The game is phenomenal. And again, I think it's one of those games that not a lot of people have played before. So yeah, especially because it's a game based off of movie. And we all know how usually those things end up. So yeah, but I totally recommend the game. I guarantee you're gonna have a lot of fun. Now, the next game is... I really want to say... I think it's safe to say, I should put it this way, that it is my favorite horror game right after Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2 is my #1 favorite psychological horror game of all time. And this one is also a psychological horror game. And I'd say it's pretty much up there with Silent Hill 2 for me. And the reason why a lot of people can't get their hands on this game, it's because it's very expensive to get it. So, which is really absurd. Like, I've seen this game go for prices that I wouldn't even dream of. But it is very unfortunate because the game has a beautiful story. It's dark. It's mean. It's It's violent, it's gross, but it is so good. Everything, the soundtrack, for example, is something that I absolutely love about this game. I'm talking about Rule of Rose. Now, there's a lot of comparisons, when it comes to Rule of Rose, there's a lot of comparisons of this game to Silent Hill. They're both psychological horror games. And it just deals with really, really dark themes. So if you're someone like me, that you just like morbid shit, you like dark stories, you like themes that should be more talked about than they actually are in video games, that's my opinion, then you should totally, if you see this game for an affordable price, which I find it really difficult, but you never know, keep your eyes open, then if you come across this game for a really cheap price, please pick it up and play it, because I guarantee you it's a hell of a fucking ride. It quickly became, like I said, my one, like, it's right up there with Silent Hill 2 for me. I love it. Now I have to tell you something. The combat system is terrible. It's fucking terrible. You're gonna hate the combat system. But I don't think you really play horror games. At least I don't play horror games for the combat systems. So I play horror games for the story, the atmosphere, and so on. So totally, this is like a must-have for a horror fan. If you can get it for cheap, snatch it up as fast as you can, because it's worth it. So, right, next up, I want to put these two games, they're part of the same series, so I'm going to show them together. They are based off of, again, movies. Very, very old movies. Very gory, very comedic as well. Movies that I absolutely love. And they also recently had a series going that was canceled, unfortunately, that I used to love. And my life felt completely empty after the series was over. So I even just recently got the movies on Blu-ray because I love them so much. I grew up with those movies, so yeah. So there's 3 games in the series, but one of them is on the PS1. And I think I either do a separate video on the PS1 or I'll just do some honorable mentions at the end of this video. But anyway, the games I am talking about are the Evil Dead games. Evil Dead, A Fistful of Boomstick, and Evil Dead Regeneration. Now, a lot of people prefer Regeneration because I am not going to sit here and lie, but Regeneration has the best gameplay, it has the best mechanics, it has a better told story that's not as, convoluted. Basically, in A Fistful of Boomstick, you do a lot of running around, and it's just a lot of open world sections where you're just collecting stuff and keys and whatnot, and if I remember correctly, you don't even have a map in this game. So it makes things a little bit more, slow. However, I do prefer this game because I'm not gonna sit here again and lie, but nostalgia. This was my first Evil Dead game, so this is the one that I love the most. I had a lot of fun with this game. It's awesome if you can look past those flaws that I just mentioned. It's an awesome game, and I think it's worth playing through. Technical, when it comes to technical things, Evil Dead Regeneration is a lot better. The story makes a lot more sense, to me at least. It plays 10 times better. It has better mechanics. The comedy is better in this game because of this little dude over here too. I don't want to spoil anything about these games because I really want you guys to go out and, if you can, get these games, get them and play them. And yeah, I also have the first game, like I said, on the PS1. This is like a series. They don't really follow each other's story. But yeah, I don't want to spoil too much about these games because I want you guys, if you can, to go out and get them and play them for yourselves because they're totally worth it. But yeah, they're great games. They're all voiced by Bruce Campbell, and It's fantastic. It's Evil Dead. What more could you ask for? It's Evil Dead. If you love Evil Dead, you're gonna love the games, including the PS1 game as well, Hail to the King, which I would totally recommend you to get it. So, yeah. Now, to the second pile. Jesus Christ. Well, we don't have that many games to go, to be honest, so let's get right into it. So the next game, it does have a sequel. I don't have the sequel on PS2. I did play it on PC, but I am trying to track down the sequel on the PS2. I haven't been able to find it for cheap. That's the thing. So I haven't picked it up yet. But I'm talking about The Suffering. The Suffering wasn't one of the scariest PS2 games that I have played, but it is a fun one. This one to me is a little bit difficult to explain because I really did enjoy it, but I didn't think it was one of the scariest. But I still think it is a series that deserves some kind of attention because what it did here, it did very well. The gameplay is fun. Some of the creatures can be really, really difficult to deal with. I've been playing this on PC lately because I just prefer the PC controls. I think they're easier to control. I'm not so used to the PlayStation 2 controls anymore. But yeah, what this game does, it does very well, and I think it does... Again, I don't want to talk too much about these games because I don't want to spoil anything about the characters or the story, and sometimes I can get carried away and spoil some shit for you guys. So, it is a very good game, again. Atmosphere is not that heavy as compared to some of the titles that I already showed to you guys. But it is a fun horror experience if you guys are itching for some horror stuff. So yeah, I do recommend this. I recommend the sequel to The Ties That Bind. I think that's how it's called. Because I know they had different names. I think they had different names if you weren't in America or in Europe. So I don't know. But yeah, I do recommend both of these games. Moving on, I know I'm going a little bit faster, but I'm running out of time, guys. So moving on, we have Haunting Ground. And this is a game that I've been dying for Capcom to take their heads out of their asses and remaster this fucking masterpiece, because I love this game. When it comes to this game, there was a lot of rumors that this was going to be a Clock Tower 4. The mechanics are very similar. Very similar. The gameplay is very similar. You run, you hide. You find keys, you complete puzzles. So in that sense, it is similar. But there's really nothing out there, I don't think, that really proves that this was going to be Clock Tower 4. They just have very similar, very similar gameplay. In this game, you have a dog called Huey that's going to help you fight enemies. It's going to help you find some items. It's gonna help you try to complete certain puzzles. So basically, in this game, you can fight back a little bit to a certain extent when it comes to throwing certain things. But the majority of the game, you're gonna be running and hiding and completing puzzles. And don't think that it's boring, because this was one of the first, if not... No, Clock Tower 3 did it first. The Clock Tower series actually did it first. But this is, in the PS2, this is like one of the first fucking games that actually, before Outlast, before Amnesia, before all of that shit, this was the game that was doing it. So... the running, the hiding, but it did it so well because every single character that you're running away from and hiding from is so terrifying. So damn terrifying. And there's always like a dark reason, a dark morbid reason why they're chasing after Fiona, the protagonist of this game. So it's very interesting. The story is very interesting. It can be a little bit confusing. And the best way to play this game, in my opinion, is on hard mode. Trust me. Get this game and play it on hard mode. So, this game is awesome. Get it. Alright, so next is a series. A series that a lot of people now in the more recent years have been kind of finding the series and playing it and making fun of it. I love a lot of horror obscure kind of games, the title, obscure kind of games that a lot of people don't like and make fun of, and I always end up loving them. There's always something that I can find in those games that I love. So I really don't usually go by what other people say. I like to make my own decisions, my own opinions, and even though these games have a lot of flaws, I still find something to love about them. So I'm not really going to be talking too much about these titles because now they're more well known than they used to be, but I am talking about the Obscure series. In my case, I prefer Obscure 1. I think the first one is a lot better. It feels more like a horror game. The second one it has its good moments, but I think it is a little bit worse than the first one. And to me, it didn't feel as much of a horror game as the first one. Maybe because in the first one you're confined to a school, and in the second one you go a little bit, everywhere. So yeah, I don't think the games are really that bad. You know what I mean? There's, like I said, there's something to love here. If you like cheesiness, if you like that, high school type of horror, you're gonna love this. So, but the first one is definitely, in my opinion, better. Anyway, next game is part of another series, but I am singling this one out because I've never played the other ones, to be honest with you. But this one I loved. And again, it's one of those that was one of the first pioneers, I think, of running from enemies and completing puzzles, way before Outlast did it, way before Amnesia did it. So, talking about Echo Night Beyond, I've played this game so many years back that I don't remember. I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember the story very well because I played this years and years ago, but I remember loving every second of it. I do know that in this game you're basically, again, completing puzzles, but you're dealing with ghosts this time. I believe you're in a moon base, and you're looking for your fiance. And in your journey you're gonna find ghosts. Some are good, some are not so good. And if you get too close to some of those malicious ghosts, your heart rate starts raising, and you gotta run away from them before it gets too bad and you die. And so there's a way to make some of those ghosts good, where you have to complete certain quests, whether it is giving the ghosts something they lost, or make them reunite with another ghost, something like that. It's a very interesting premise. It is a slow pace type of game, but it's really good. Again, atmosphere is on point. It is scary. You hear those noises while you're exploring the moon base and stuff. There's a lot to like here as well. So if you guys come across this, because I'm sure you've heard of Echo Night series before, but this is called Echo Night Beyond. This is great. I never played the other ones. I really want to try it, but I've never come across a copy. But as far as this one goes, it's good. It's really good. Alright guys, the two last titles. The last one I'm gonna say it's not really horror. It's horror themed, but it's more like a fun horror. But anyway, this one is interesting. This one is a horror game that I love. It was made by From Software, the guys that did the Soulborn series. And they decided to, back in the day, make a horror game, and they made Kuon. Now this game, there's basically 3 phases. You play as 3 different characters, if I remember correctly. You have the yin and yang phase, and then you have the Kuon phase. And this basically takes place in ancient Japan. Again, of course you have the tropes that, you have those type of mechanics that From Software likes to put in some of their Souls games. Like, you also have a stamina meter in this game, so the combat, again, like Rule of Rose, the combat is not that great, but the story is a little bit convoluted. What can you expect from Software? I'm not talking shit about From Software, man. I love their fucking games, okay? I'm a huge fan. But again, I think it's one of those titles that not a lot of people know about, and you should be playing because it's really good. It's a really good horror experience, even if the story is convoluted. So I think you should get it. Again, not gonna go too much into it. If I got too much into the story, I'll end up spoiling it. Go out and buy it. Right, next title, and the last one. Again, like I said, this is not really a horror game. It's more like a comedy based on horror game. It's based off of a movie, again, but it has nothing to do with the movie. Nothing. Besides the name and some ghostly characters, and that's it. This has nothing to do with the movie. It's its own thing. And I think it deserves some recognition, even though it's not really a horror game. It's horror-based, like I said. Haunted Mansion. It's very fun. It's very quirky. It has amazing levels, and I think, like, you guys, if you guys love Luigi's Mansion, I think you'll love this. I love Luigi's Mansion, for example, and it's not quite the same thing, but in terms of levels and everything, it reminded me a lot of Luigi's Mansion. So if you like those type of horror-based games, then I think for, you know, just for having some fun, I think you really enjoy titles like this. So yeah, I thought I would put it in this list as something a little bit more, you know, because some of these games have been really heavy horror games. So I thought I would put something a little fun in here, so. But yeah, guys, that was it for the list of games, PS2 horror games that I recommend to you guys. Some of them were obscure, some of them you guys already heard about them. But maybe you never got the chance to play them. Now, I know that I've talked a little bit more about certain titles than others, but I didn't want to make, like I said, this video longer than already is, so, and I'm running out of time. So, I still hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun doing it, and I'm going to be doing this for PS3, PS4. I just wanted to do this one for the PS2 games because I have a lot of PlayStation 2 games, so I just wanted to make this one separate. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, please drop a like, subscribe, and yeah, meet me here for the next one. Peace.